before we get started, I would like to mention the webinar outcomes of today's session. So by the end of this webinar, new incoming international students will have more knowledge about UStart, what is UStart, how you can use it and its benefits. So summer transition programs, orientation week at York, how is it going to be like, how you can register for that, the benefits of orientation week for international students. Last but not the least, like I mentioned, how to register for orientation week. So here's a breakdown of the session today. At first, we learn about exploring UStart and summer transition events, and then we're going to know about what is orientation week going to look like, and then we're going to know about international and exchange student orientation. At the end, we're going to wrap up the session with the question and answers session. Here, I'm going to introduce Stephen and Osha to you, who are coordinators for student community and leadership development program, which is known as SCLD, and they will talk more about what is orientation week gonna look like. So I'm going to hand it over to Stephen and Osha.
Thank you, Sharnila. So I'll take over. Hi, everyone. My name is O'Shea Taylor, pronouns he, him. I'm a coordinator here at SCNLD, and I focus on new student transitions. So all first-year incoming students, you will be interacting with a lot of the programming that both myself and Stephen have been creating. And so to get started, we're going to go over what is UStart and what is summer transition events. How can you all get connected before your first day of classes in person? So step one is what your question might be, what is first-year student transition and where do you begin? You're going to want to begin with UStart. The link is actually listed in my presentation here with at yorku.ca/UStart. There's also a QR code if for those of you who have not experienced UStart yet, you can kind of scan that and get there. But UStart is York University's online platform that helps new students prepare, connect, discover, and engage in preparation for their first day of classes. So that's step one. You're going to want to log in, use your York PPY, which is your passport York, which kind of allows you into different segments of the York University website. And that'll kind of have a profile already created for you where you can navigate different enrollment pieces and information that you might need to get started. So what else can you find within UStart, you might be wondering? So to further expand on that, UStart is a new student transition program. It's designed to support you as you make your way into and through your first year at York University. The platform is designed to help you enroll in courses, connect with faculty members, connect with student staff, as well as fellow classmates and student leaders via our online Slack community. Through UStart, you will also be able to become more familiar with campus life, resources, and supports that are available to all students. You will also be able to access a variety of checklists, modules, and frequently asked questions pages that will help keep you organized and on track to start your first semester. Some of these checklists include pre-arrival, enrollment guidelines, as well as finance and tuition FAQ resource pages. So that's step one. We're going to move on to step two, where you might be wondering, okay, well, so what's next? Where can I meet community members? Step two is summer transition events. So within our summer transition program, we have free and virtual events that are free virtual and in-person events available to you pre-arrival. These opportunities are organized to help you get you and your family get a head start on your journey to success. So you might be wondering now, okay, so I know about step two being summer transition events. What kind of events exist? So here we have 4 different kinds of events. We have campus tours available. We have York 101s, York 201s, and priority focus events. We have Q&A info sessions, and we have parent and family sessions. So we're going to break that down a little bit further. So to start off with campus tours, these are in-person events where it's focused towards you all, first-year incoming students. These campus tours are designed with many benefits, such as attending. You'll be able to, it'll be an opportunity to visit the Kiel campus and visit spaces that are commonly used by all students, regardless of your academic program. The tours are led by upper year students who are in peer mentorship roles, and they'll share details that are very important to you that you might find necessary while you're on campus, as well as they'll give you, you'll visit different spaces like Very Hall, Central Square, the Ross Building, campus student centers, and Tate McKenzie Fitness Center, among other places. Moving on to York 101s and York 201s, these sessions will be offered both virtually and in person. They're going to be an opportunity for peer-to-peer learning, and they're, again, focused on incoming and new students. Within these sessions, it's an introductory pre-orientation session where students will be introduced to life at York University. You'll be able to gain a sense of connectedness with other students, as well as develop a sense of resourcefulness to university services. You'll be broken up into different breakout rooms, and you'll be able to ask questions with different peer leaders that represent or maybe might relate to your faculty or program. And they'll be able to answer those questions in a safe space where it's just like a no judgment kind of zone. And you'll go through activities and kind of answer a lot of the first initial questions that might come up later on in September. We're tackling them in the summer that kind of sets you on a pathway for success. York 201s are a little bit different in that we bring in professors and learning skills and resources available for you, so that we'll put you through a mock lecture as well as give you some note-taking and resource skills before you even set foot in your first class. We're going to give you some tips and tricks so that you know what to listen for, what to look out for in your first lectures and throughout your first semester. Q&A and info sessions are all virtual. Those are for all incoming students as well. And so regardless of where you are over the summer, whether you're in Toronto, whether you're in Canada, or you're in a different country altogether, these info sessions will touch on a variety of different topics, and we'll be partnering with different campus partners to deliver resources and information that are going to be relevant to you as a first-year student. Some of these Q&A sessions that we've had so far over the summer have focused on or have partnered with financial services, accessibility services, campus recreation and fitness, on-campus housing and residence life, and as well as earlier this week, we had a session on how to navigate e-class. The last and fourth different kind of summer transition event that is offered by my team is parent and family sessions. So we've tackled on how to get you as students all registered for success and set up for success, but we also want to have your family support you, your loved ones and your supporters support you as you navigate this new transition process in your life. So these sessions are offered to all parent and family, and if you, as a student, you would like to attend, you can attend as well. But we try to prepare all of your guardians, your families, with the information that they might need to be able to support you best. At times, we'll bring in different we'll bring in different guest speakers as well. Sometimes it's finance related, sometimes we have the vice provost students, different folks within the university who can better give some information on what they should be looking out for, how to support your wellness, your well-being, and also get you on a path to academic success. So that was step 2. We've gone through UStart, we've gone through the different types of events. So you might be saying to yourself, I know what the event types are, now what? Step 3. Step 3 is registering for events themselves. So within the link that I've listed here at yorku/2023.ticketleap.com, we use a platform called Ticketleap. This is where all of our free events are posted. You'll be able to kind of scroll through, see what is important to you, what interests you, whether it's a campus tour or York 101 or York 201, a virtual information session, or even upcoming parent and family sessions for your family. You can pass that information along and you can register completely free on this website. So that just brings us to the last page here. If you want to get more information on any of our first year programming, you can scan this QR code or check the link that we're going to be posting in the chat as well. Just copy and paste that, and you'll be able to register for any of our events. And yes, they are free. So without further ado, I'll also pass it off to my colleague, Stephen, to take over.
Thank you so much, O'Shea. Really, really appreciate that. Before I continue, I think there's a question in the Q&A. Can one of my parents also join campus tours with me?
Yes, absolutely. Parents are welcome to join campus tours if they want to see campus with you and you want to have a companion. I know for a lot of folks, you might be getting a ride down to campus, and so they're more than welcome to stay with you on a campus tour and see where you'll be staying or spending the majority of your time for your first year.
Thank you so much, O'Shea. So hey folks, my name is Stephen Tiong. I work at SELD with O'Shea, and my portfolio is mainly with orientation. So some of you might be asking, what is a week? Like, what is orientation? So orientation is a program of social and academic activities designed to introduce you as a first year to life at university, right? So of course, we know when you're coming to York, you're here for the classes, right? But York is so much more than the classes. And orientation will help you to introduce you to everything, from meeting your way around the campuses, meeting new people, learning more about traditions and communities at York. Orientation week is where you're going to be doing it. So orientation week, what does it look like this year? It starts on August 26th, and then it starts with residence orientation on 26th and 27th, goes on to commuter orientation on the 27th, international students orientation on the 28th, which I'm sure the York International team would talk a little bit more about. On the 29th and 30th, we'll have academic orientation. Orientation week ends on the 4th. And then we have an event on the 5th called Doors Open York. So keep an eye out for that one. We'll talk about each single one of these in a little bit more detail as we go through the slides. Orientation week at York is organized by a bunch of really passionate student community members, right? The people who are your student council presidents for every one of the colleges and faculties. And together they comprise of really cool orientation events. Here's just a snapshot of the different types of events that will come depending on the college and faculty you're with, right? So we see here we have residents moving on the first day. On the third day, we have an event called Glen Carnival. Later on in the week, we go to the beach, we do Tate McKenzie tours. These are just sneak peeks of what type of events you might see on your O week. How does orientation week work though? So at York, we actually don't just have one orientation week. We have 11 simultaneous ones, and they are operated by the 9 colleges and the faculties of Schulich and Lausanne. What is a college, you might ask? Some of you might be saying, hey, I thought I was going to a university. Well, we have a college system at York University that helps something so big like York make it feel small and intimate. So they're a place for you to kind of study, hang out, participate with people in your programs or in a similar interest, right? If you're not sure what college you're a part of, you can just check out this handy college finder right here, and it'll tell you based on whatever program of study you're currently in. Based off of that, it'll help inform you of which orientation week you might want to participate in. And then going back in the slides, you will then see the specific orientation week schedule that your student leaders have made specifically for you. Why should you participate in O week though? O week is a really, really phenomenal way for you, particularly as an international student, to make meaningful connections with other students in your program and other students around Canada. It'll also help you to further explore the different resources and services offered to you. As students, sometimes people don't realize how many services are ready to help you out. Whether we're talking about accessibility services, whether we're talking about athletics and recreation, student well-being, they're all going to be present in one way or another during a week. And so in that sense, orientation helps you familiarize yourself with York University and Toronto. Every O week team will have some sort of programming embedded so that it'll help you get used to our transit system in Toronto, help you kind of check out some really cool places around the city and around the campus. How do you register for O week? On the orientation week website that we brought up a little bit earlier, you'll find links to the 11 different orientation weeks at York. So you'll see here, really smallly, Bethune and Calumet, Founders, Glendon, et cetera, et cetera. Underneath each option, you'll find the contact information for each group, along with a link to their websites. On their websites, you'll find not just what they do during orientation week, you'll also see what they do throughout the entire year. I think that's the end of my slides. I'll take a moment really quickly just to answer for some of the Q&A. So if you arrive a little bit after, I see someone said that you're arriving on September 1st after academic orientation, I believe there would be a makeup session for your academic orientation. What we would encourage you to do is to reach out to your faculty to say, hey, coming a little bit later, what backup information can you get? And I'm sure they will be happy to give it to you. Right? If you're moving in a little bit after move-in date, that's perfectly okay. When you're here, you'll go into the move-in office and then they will give you your keys. They'll help you move in and everything. If you folks have any questions for orientation, feel free to let us know. And then I'll pass it back to the York International team.
Thank you so much, Stephen and Osha, for that amazing presentation on orientation week. I hope that will pique the interest of our incoming students who are coming, who are joining us this fall. So make sure you all check out the orientation resources, and if that interests you, register for it as well. So now I'm going to talk about fall 2023 International and Exchange Student Orientation. So at first, we have a really cool event planned for you all, and I think it's useful as well. So it's Shopping Essentials with York International. It's going to take place on a Sunday on August 27th. From 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. You can join us on some shopping trips to purchase all the essentials you may need after moving here as an international student. Round trips from York University's Kiel campus to nearby shopping centers will be organized for new international students. So if that's something you plan on attending, make sure you register using the link here. And just a little reminder, the registration for this event ends on August 14 at 9 a.m. And then we have another cool opportunity for international and exchange student orientation. So if you're an international or exchange student, you can join us on Monday, August 28th from 8:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. So it will be an in-person opportunity for an incredible opportunity to meet fellow international students, build community, and to learn about all important resources and services available for you to access at York. So for this event as well, if you think that this is something you want to attend, please register through the link. Registration ends on August 14 at 9 a.m. like the previous event. So make sure you grab that spot available before it sells out. So now I'm going to talk about some alternate days if you cannot make it before September 1st. So if you're an international or exchange student, then who's arriving after August 31st or September 1st, then these are the days for you. So we have alternate day 1. This is open only for new incoming international students who are arriving at York University after August 28th, like I mentioned. So this day will take place on Friday, September 8th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. You can join us in person for an incredible opportunity to meet fellow international students, build community, and to learn about all the important resources and services available at York. For this too, you need to register. So a reminder that registration ends on August 25th at 9 a.m. And then we have another alternate day, which is going to take place on Thursday, September 14th. I'm so sorry. I don't know why it's just automatically changing the slides. But like I mentioned, it's going to take place on September 14th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And for this too, please register using the link here. Registration ends on August 31st at 9 a.m. So these are the alternate days if you're planning to travel after August 28th. Now I will move on to questions. So I'll open the floor to all the attendees for you to all ask questions. You can use the question and answer feature on Zoom to ask any questions. And every one of us, Osha and Stephen, will try to answer it live or we'll type it in. I see that there's a question. It asks that, is there any way to register for these events? Any other way? For some reason, the Tickle Leap website does not work for me. It says DNS resolution error.
It might have just been a misspelling of the link. So I'll put the correct link in the chat and it should work. Just give me a moment.
Thank you very much, Osha or Stephen.
I do receive like a question in the chat box that asking about frosh and orientation. Will you be able to explain the similar and different between the two?
Absolutely. So Frosh Week is also another term that we use to kind of explain social orientation week. Frosh Week is just kind of one of those older terms that we used to use a little bit more frequently. Nowadays, we more globally call it orientation week. But of course, when we're talking about orientation, there are just so many different types of orientation. So of course, you're going to have the academic component, which will, help you learn a little bit more about your class, your program, your faculty. You have social orientation week, which is built in by your colleges and faculties. That's kind of more of the fun social events that we typically do. You have international students orientations, and you have a bunch of residence orientations as well. So there's a bunch of different built-in orientation pieces, many of them that are free and accessible.
Thank you, Steve.
No worries. Do you want me to just take a moment to answer some of the questions in the chat as well?
Yes, that
please.
would be amazing.
Thank you.
I think I cut you off by accident, O'Shea. Do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, Stephen, for folks to know that we are actually going to be hosting a virtual session for those who want to know more about Orientation Week. That'll be on August I believe the 14th. Yeah, August the 14th, Stephen and his team will be hosting a virtual session for all those who are interested in knowing more about Orientation Week, how that relates to your faculty, how your program, how you can get involved, get more information on kits or what you can purchase into or what events are free. Feel free to come to that session and I'll post the link in the chat as well.
Thank you so much for that, O'Shea. Seeing some of the Q&A in the chat, One person says they study comp sci in Lausanne, so it's compulsory for you to stay in Bethune. Likely what that will look like is that if you're staying on residence, they might put you into Bethune residence. But if you're looking about joining orientation week, you're more than welcome to join either Bethune colleges or Lausanne Schools of Engineering's orientation week. Both would be open and accessible to you. There's also another question, can we register for other college orientation or events? So absolutely. The College Finder will help you to figure out which college you're associated in naturally based on whatever your program of study is. So for example, if you're studying political science, you would be put into the faculty of LAPS, but then the College of McLaughlin would have an orientation week for you. If you have a friend who is going to another college's orientation, you want to join them, you're more than welcome to sign up for their week. But we will encourage you to sign up for the orientation week of your college. That will just help you to meet more people who are specifically underneath your program, and can also help you meet some of the higher years. So that way, if you have any questions, you can just go directly to them. O'Shea, I think there's a question for you in the chat as well. Is there going to be a virtual tour of the campus?
No, I don't believe we don't offer a virtual tour, but there might be some resources on campus that you can kind of navigate a virtual map, as well as sometimes there are videos on our YouTube page. So I can look to see if there are what's available, but I know that we have an interactive map that kind of takes you on a virtual tour offered through the university. Give me one moment, I'll put that in the chat.
Awesome, thank you so much. Answering some of the other questions in the chat as well. If you have an international student fall orientation ticket, so that's for August 28th, are you eligible to join the orientation event? Absolutely. Orientation week has a bunch of activities all the way through from August 26th to September 5th. If you have another commitment, whether it's international student orientation, or if you have a doctor's appointment, or really anything, perfectly okay. Just come for whatever pieces pique your interest and whatever events you can come to. If someone forgets to register for any of the links, will they still be able to access orientation week? Absolutely. Don't worry about that. We absolutely know sometimes we lose a link or two. That happens to all of us. So there will be many other emails and like notifications, whether on York University's emails or TV channels and everything, that will be able to help you remind you to sign up for different events. Of course, if you forget, when you're on campus, orientation leaders will be wearing a jersey. You can certainly ask them about any of the questions or events that are happening. And if you miss any of them, just ask them to help you out. There's also a question, is it difficult to change your major after your first year? Depends on the type of major that you're trying to change into. But from my personal experience, not too difficult. What we will advise you to do is that as you go through your first year, you take your intro courses, you might find some majors that might pique your interest a little bit more, at which point we'll certainly just encourage you, book a meeting with your academic advisor, and they will help you to kind of figure out and navigate the system of changing it into a different major. Is there an estimated date for Frosh registrations to open? For example, Bethune hasn't opened yet. I think most of the colleges and faculties will open their orientation ticket sales sometime this week. And then as we move closer and closer through the summer, you'll find more information like the schedules that they're going to have, or some of the events and programming that you're going to be getting access to. So I say definitely just stay tuned to their websites. On the orientation page, you'll see a ton of social media links so that you can kind of follow their accounts and see what's happening, what's in news, like as we kind of build the countdown towards O week. Someone had a question that's related to SCLD. Can first years become a part of it, and how? For SCLD, we're more so staff positions. So like it's kind of like helping out with community support. I do know there are a few open positions that we usually hire for in the fall, winter. So if you're ever interested in that or any campus job, you can type in on Google York U campus jobs, right? And then it'll be eventually, you'll find a way to navigate to a link to find a bunch of different jobs that are offered by different departments across York University, at which point, if there's any that pique your interest, certainly we'll encourage you to apply. For clubs specifically, that's going to be something that we'll also hit on during orientation weekend after for a huge club fair. So for example, if you're really interested about joining any student councils or joining any specific clubs, there'll be tabling around York University during the first few weeks at York. So feel free, keep an eye out for that. Someone asked for a little bit of clarification about the colleges. Absolutely. The college system at York University is just built to make York University go from a really, really big institution to feeling a little bit more small and intimate, right? So for example, if you're part of a faculty called LAPS, there are a ton of programs in that. LAPS is like liberal arts and professional studies, right? And so for example, in that you can have a really diverse set of programs, from accounting to political science to religious studies to everything that you can kind of imagine under that umbrella. And the college system will help you kind of divide the different programs based on a certain core concept into McLaughlin, Bethune, et cetera, et cetera. And so the college system is really just built in a way to help you find people with similar interests and similar programs. Think of it more the social aspect of the university. See a few more questions. We love the questions, so keep them coming. There's one event, I checked the Eventbrite app and there comes one event which says York Frosh Week party buses and it is paid. Do I have to register for that and what would it be like? For orientation events, whenever we have events off campus, whether we're going to a beach or maybe we're going from one campus to another, if you buy into orientation week, you also get access to all of the transportation. So that way you don't need to worry about how you're going to get back and from the event itself. So once you register for O week, you have access to all of that, at which point they'll kind of give you a little bit more information about, hey, we're going to the beach on Saturday, make sure you get to this specific location by that time. And of course, if you have any questions, then, you know, you have direct access to asking them the question for that. How do we register for orientation specifically for our faculty? I'm not sure if you're talking about academic orientation or social orientation. If you're talking about academic orientation, all students are automatically registered for that. But of course, they do a little registration just to get an idea of how many people are coming. You'll get some sort of email in the next 40, 50 days as we get closer to academic orientation, encouraging you to sign up for that. For social orientation, again, you can go to the website that I believe they put into the chat. That'll give you a little bit more information about which college or faculty you're part of, and then from there, encouraging you to sign up from there. There's also another question in the chat. Does your residence correspond to your college? So for example, you might have a residence offer for Stong residents, but your college finder might say you're in Calumet College. So the residences are not directly affiliated to the colleges. They just might have a really similar name. So even if you're living in Stong residence, if your college finder says you're part of Calumet, we encourage you to go to Calumet.
Thank you so much, Stephen, for all those great answers. And I hope that our participants know a little bit more about which orientation to join and how to join it. And as we have more questions coming in, I'll just quickly go over our upcoming webinars and how you can stay connected with York International and follow us. So we have some upcoming webinars coming up, like the one that we had today, which was amazing. We got to learn about orientation week, thanks to Stephen and Osha. So we have another webinar coming up next week where you can get student perspective. So we have another webinar next Wednesday, which is called Ask Me Anything with International Student Ambassadors, where you'll hear from current and recently graduated international students about their personal experience on how they built friendships and community at York University and in Canada. And then after that, we have a webinar on international parents and families on Tuesday, August 2nd. We will provide parents, families, and loved ones of new international students with information they need to know about important deadlines, available resources, and essential documents and items students need to bring to Canada. And in the same week, on Wednesday, August 3rd, we have Arriving at the Canadian Border, where we provide students with information they need to know regarding traveling to Canada, Canadian customs, and important documents. So if you want to learn more about how you can start your life here at York University and Canada, traveling to Canada and other things, make sure that you stay tuned and you join our webinars that are coming up. Next, I'm going to share some Faculty of Liberal Arts and Professional Studies specific resources. So LAPS, which is short for Liberal Arts and Professional Studies, have some amazing programming coming up. The first one is Get Ready for Class program. So if you're an incoming international student in LAPS, you may be feeling anxious, excited, or nervous about your first steps at York University. So to get a head start on your experience here, you can participate in the Get Ready for Class program. So if you want to register for this amazing resource, you can use the Microsoft form here that we have linked. That way you can register and utilize this resource. Next, we have International Peer Mentorship Program. So the LAPS International team has an international student peer mentorship program which connects new international students. I'm a little confused, like why is it changing without me changing the slides? So they connect new international students with upper year international students to help with the transition to York University. So if you're interested in this amazing tool, I would say you can click on the link, and then there you'll get more information and how you can also sign up for this program. I would say these are amazing tools that you all as an incoming student should utilize. So make sure you check out all of these. So before I end this session and you all ask more questions, here's all our social media information. We have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, WeChat, and TikTok as well. So if you want to stay connected to York University and learn about all the amazing things we have going on, events coming up, I would say you stay connected through social media. So make sure you follow us on our social media. And then I'll go back to questions now. Make sure you put all your questions that you want to ask Stephen and Osha in the question and answer feature so that we all can answer. So I see there's a question. It says, I missed the $300 payment due date. Can I still make the payment to secure my spot? Nathmi, can you answer this question, please?
Hi, sorry, I was just getting ready to type that in the chat there. So I'm going to be pasting a link to some information that incoming students will need to review, including what happens with your registration deposit, which is the $300 payment that you're referring to. So I'm going to share that website. Just follow the information and the instructions that's on there. I believe you should be fine as long as you pay that registration as soon as possible.
Thank you so much, Nathmi. And then there's another question. Can I go in person to the university, to the office administration to update my passport and pay my registration? I'm in Glendon campus. So I would say you get in contact with the Division of Students or registrar's office. So I'm going to paste the link. And you can send them an email first and see if it's something you can do via email or you need to go in person. If that's okay, like I'll just send you the link here.
Oh, sure, Neela.
Yes.
For the Glendon campus, they can also reach out to the Glendon Office of Student Affairs just to learn a little bit more. If you like, I can also type that out to them.
Oh, thank you very much. So someone said that they requested an enrollment meeting with an advisor, but they did not send them the Zoom link, which was yesterday. And they did pay the $300 registration deposit fee, but no Zoom meeting. I would say sometimes advisors are preoccupied with other things. So sometimes when you request Zoom meetings, it takes some time, and maybe reach out to them again to see if it's available to meet with an advisor one-on-one. I would say like reach out to your faculty's advising office, and the registration deposit you paid is not related to the advisor's appointment. So it's a good thing you've paid it. That's amazing. Now that's out of the way. But I would say just reach out to your faculty's advising office and make sure that they have upcoming slots or any available slots for you to have an individual meeting. Thank you so much, everybody, for all those amazing questions. So if you have more questions, you can type them in the chat, and we'll try our best to answer all of them. If not, that is the end of our session. So if you don't have any questions and you're looking forward to orientation week, then I would say stay tuned. And that is, since that's the end of our session, you're free to leave. Have a good night or rest of your day, depending on wherever you are. And I hope to see you all in our next session.